Welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. Today, the Miami Dolphins have started to make the cuts to the roster. They have to go from 90 to 53. That's insane. I'm glad I'm not the person in that room having to make these cuts. We're going to talk about who was already cut. We're going to talk about who we think is going to get cut. And we're going to give our final 53-man roster predictions on today's show. So I hope you're ready. Get something to drink because this is going to be a good one. All right, welcome back, Dolphins fans. We are here again to talk about Miami Dolphins football. My goodness, the preseason's over, finally. I can't stand it. It's so hard to watch these games, dude. Even as somebody who likes roster construction and likes the camp battles and likes all that stuff, I still find it incredibly difficult to watch.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, there are little things that I like about it, right? Like you said, seeing some rookies play for the first time, right, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Jesus.
We're not going to talk a lot about this Jaguars-Dolphins game. I mean, to be honest, there was no score. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter to the end of the game. There was no scoring. So if you like boring football, that was the game for you to watch. Just to recap it a little tiny bit before we dive into the roster itself, Tua and team did get the start. They did awful for the first two series, 6 plays for 1 yard. Fantastic job, guys. And then they did launch a scoring drive there on their third attempt, thankfully, because that would have been awful to go 3 drives and not score anything for the starters when I don't know if the Jaguars were playing their starting defense, but they sure as hell weren't playing their starting offense. So we were going against Wolford or something like that. I don't even know the guy's name. And he was actually running it up us a little bit. And I was like, what is happening right now? Please, somebody save me.
I'm going to literally contribute nothing to this conversation. It was a tough watch. I was away. I caught recaps and reviewed the game and rewatched it. But nothing exciting. I'll say this. I lied. There was one thing that was really exciting to me was seeing I'm blanking on his name. Marshall Jr. solidify his kind of starting position in the slot at the slot cornerback position, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. So 2 guys locked up positions in this game. Malik Washington, if there were any question as to whether or not the wide receiver 3 was locked up, it was locked down in this game. He was fantastic. 25-yard touchdown was the only touchdown of the starters, either side. And then, Jason Marshall Jr. locks down the starting corner position. And we know that because Mike Hilton Jr. got cut today. So, listen, we talked about – I'm going to start with Mike Hilton Jr. And I want to go quarterbacks and go position by position, but I want to talk about him just a little bit, give him a little bit of spotlight because we talked about him a lot. And I've voiced my concerns over the Mike Hilton signing pretty much since he signed. In my opinion, if a defense as bad as the Bengals didn't want you, I'm not sure how much you have left in the tank. It looks like the Dolphins brass felt the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to convince myself, which is a normal Josh thing to do, that this was a okay signing. I never thought it was a good signing, but an okay signing in the sense that, okay, let's get him into a change of scenery. Let's get him onto a fun team. He comes in as a veteran kind of voice. Maybe he can find his stride. But what you said just now and what you said when we signed him and what you and I have talked about in our group chat, it stuck with me in the back of my head for so long. It's just like, yeah, man, the Bengals don't want him. Okay, well, maybe he's not that good, right? But I was hoping for something because our cornerback room is not that good. I will admit I am completely surprised at, our rookies, both the Jesus, what the hell's his name?
Jason Marshall Jr., Dante Trader.
Thank you. Trader and Marshall Jr., right? Coming in, playing really well at both the safety and the slot cornerback room. But yeah, no, I was sure anyone we signed would stick on the team because that's how bad our cornerback room was. But look at that. Who knew?
Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot more about that when we get to the cornerback room because Mike Hilton was not the only corner cut. It's been an absolutely interesting day in terms of the cornerback room so far today. But we have to start with quarterback. That's where everybody starts, right? The quarterback position. I see Tua not getting cut, obviously. And then there was a backup quarterback battle between Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. I think that battle went so well that I'm not sure either one of them get cut. I think Miami carries 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, same. You could make an argument for Quinn Ewers going to the practice squad with the new rules of the NFL where you can bring up an emergency quarterback off your practice squad every single game, so that you have a player and there's no limit to the amount of games you can carry. You can bring somebody up from all that stuff. But I just think that, Zach and Quinn really didn't, like you said, one didn't separate from the other. And, that's a little troubling for Zach, given how long he's been in the NFL versus Quinn, given how long he's been in the NFL. But on the flip side, that's really cool for Quinn because, you're keeping up with Zach where irregardless of our opinion of him, which is kind of up and down and more down than up. He was still the 2nd overall pick in the draft. He had he's made a buttload of money. We can talk about whether it was deserved or not. And he has flashes, he has talent. And the fact that Quinn came in and made this a competition is real cool to see because I don't think either of us were really high on Quinn coming out of Texas. Cool. I thought it was a value pick in the 7th round. However, was it 7th round, 231, I think is what the pick was or something like that.
Yeah, it was in the 7th round, who cares? Take a dart.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, cool. Maybe we found somebody that can at worst be a 2nd string quarterback, at best could be a future starter, or even better, Tua stays healthy. And now Quinn, who eventually in this made up scenario turns into a starter, can be a trade chip down the road.
Sure. Long road to go for a 7th rounder to become a starter at that position. So we'll see what happens. Listen, it's weird how college football changes so much from year to year. Quinn Ewers was up there with Ollie Gordon as like Heisman, like the preseason Heisman vote, Heisman watch. Yep. Quinn Ewers was up there, and Ollie Gordon was up there, and Ollie falls to the 6th, Quinn falls to the 7th, both with down years in their senior years or final years. I don't know if they're both seniors.
And not to mention, Quinn held off Manning, right, who was the savior freshman coming into college. He held him off all year last year and still played. So.
He did. Speaking of Ollie Gordon and the running back room to me includes the fullback. I think we keep 4 here. Achane, Wright, Ollie Gordon obviously probably has moved up to number 2, both from Jalen Wright getting injured, who could miss a few weeks, and by his play. He got game with the starters this week, and he looked just as good as he did when he wasn't with the starters. So Ollie Gordon, I think, we've been talking about it for weeks now, and I think we're finally kind of seeing the fruits of that labor there. I believe he's the RB2 now. We will see when Jalen Wright gets back how it plays out, but I don't think Ollie's done anything to lose that,
No, I have the same 4, right? Devon, Ollie, Jalen Wright, and Alec Ingold.
I forgot to mention Ingold. Sorry, thank you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off too soon there. But I think Ollie Gordon, to my excitement and happiness, right? Irregardless of the fact that I'm a Jalen Wright guy, and I think it's too soon to write him off, right? I think it would be irresponsible of us and of fans to just say, "Oh, well, Jalen Wright had a couple bad preseason games, and now he's injured. He's garbage. Let's get rid of him," because you could see the talent there last year, and that just doesn't go away. Maybe he's just dealing with some stuff that we don't know about. Whatever the case is, Ollie Gordon is without a question, in my opinion, RB2, and there is from Devon to Ollie, in my opinion, there's a relatively large gap in talent, which I think is understood, right? But what a 1-2 punch. What a 1-2 punch. You have Devon, the shifty guy who's really, I think a top 6 running back in this league, top 7 running back in this league. And you have Ollie Gordon on the flip side, who's fast, tall, strong, powerful, can catch, and can block. So this is a really, really cool 1-2 punch.
Jalen Wright's kind of a mix of the two too. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think I think the three of them are going to see playing time. I mean, if you've been watching the Dolphins since Mike McDaniel has taken over, three running backs see playing time regularly. We even have a three running back formation that we roll out semi often too. Speaking of the running back position, we did sign Alexander Madison as a free agent. He ends up going on IR a few weeks ago with a neck injury. We also signed Mike Boone just this week. He was cut, and we signed Aaron Shamklin last week, and he was also cut.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, I liked what I saw out of Shamklin. I know it was a little too, not enough too soon, or whatever the hell that saying is, right?
Too little, too late.
Yeah, thank you. Too little, too late. Jeez, I don't know what the hell's going on today, man. Too little, too late. But I mean, maybe if we could get one of them on the practice squad, that would be a good kind of backup plan.
Yeah, I don't know if there's practice squad restrictions anymore because I know Mike Boone's a veteran, but Shamklin, I think he's only in year 2, so he might be able to get stashed on that. Let's move to wide receiver, though. This is a much more interesting conversation. I think that there is potentially a position open here, or there's a potential to keep 7. I'm not entirely sure. So listen, let's talk locks first. Tyreek Hill, obviously locked. Jalen Waddle, obviously locked. I think Malik Washington locked himself in.
Oh, for sure.
I think after Malik, I do think that it's open for that 4th spot between Westbrook-Ikhine, Taj Washington, and what's his name? D. Eskridge. I think the 3 of them had similar preseasons, and well, Nick Westbrook had a down preseason, I'll say, which has kind of lowered him a bit. And I think Taj and D had fantastic preseasons, which has kind of raised them a bit. So I think they're those 3 on the same level. What we don't know is whether or not Theo Weiss Jr. has done enough to make the team. We saw that AJ Henning got cut.
Yep.
Right. Hopefully we can stash him on the practice squad because he did some nice things.
He did.
Yep. But no word yet on Theo Weiss Jr. And I liked some of what I saw out of him.
So did I. Yeah, I thought he had really great chemistry with some of our both of our backups. He was very good at the point of catch and was real shifty when he needed to be. I have us keeping 7 wide receivers on the 53. I have in no specific order. Well, I'll put them in order. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington. To your point, top 3, there is no question. I still think Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is a wide receiver 4, not because he's more talented than Taj or Eskridge, but because I think he gives us that body physical diversity that we don't have in the other 3. I think from a talent level, I would actually probably put Taj Washington as a wide receiver 4, just because I love what I saw in him this preseason. He initiated contact. He was shifty. He was fast. He caught everything that was around him. And he was a true professional on the field. The reason I don't think D. Eskridge is in the top 4 wide receivers on this team is because of the other duties that he is going to be the starter for, i.e. special teams. He is, in my opinion, our starting kick returner. And the same can be said for Taj Washington. So I think that, coupled with the physical diversity that Westbrook-Ikhine brings to the wide receiver room, I think that's why he's wide receiver 4. And I do have Theo Weiss Jr. making this team. So my 7 wide receivers are D. Eskridge, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, Taj Washington, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and Theo Weiss Jr.
I have us keeping 6. I think Theo Weiss is just didn't do. Yeah, I mean, it's not fair to him. He did everything he could on the field, but when you're an undrafted free agent, you don't really get a whole lot of opportunity to do a whole lot. So if you're if you're not popping off the tape every snap you take, odds are you're probably not going to make the team, especially at this wide receiver core, given how good they are. So I think either Theo Weiss they'll do one of their hidden little oh no, he's injured, he's got to be placed on IR sort of things, or he'll just be cut outright with hopes that we can get him on the practice squad. I think there's a good chance. I mean, I don't think there's wide receiver cores out there hurting enough.
Well, there are a few.
Theo Weiss Jr., get in here.
I mean, yeah, true. I just think this team has has a kind of a stick in the sand when it comes to undrafted free agents making this team. Every single year, there is at least 1 or 2.
Usually at tight end.
For the majority.
We'll talk about in a second.
I guess I should say the majority of the years. There are some that make them, right? And I think with his chemistry and the backups, look, we don't want to talk about it too much because we don't want to put it out in the ether. I am a firm believer that this is going to be a fully healthy year for Tua, and we are going to do well enough. If you watched our last show, I had us making the playoffs and winning our first playoff game before losing. But God forbid, reality kicks in and Tua is injured for an extended period of time. Zach Wilson and Quinn have a phenomenal chemistry, and you could see, go back and look at the tape. I know it was just preseason. It was against second and third stringers. I fully understand that. But the chemistry that Weiss Jr. has with both of our backups, not that he would immediately start, but God forbid there's a slew of injuries. We have a very capable backup that already has preloaded chemistry. It's the only reason that I have him on there.
Yeah, to this point, we did lose 2 tight ends today. Chris Myarick. I don't know how to say it.
One more time. Say it again.
Chris Myarick? I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
sure.
He was cut. Pharaoh Brown was also cut, which this is the second year in a row that we signed a big body tight end, and they were cut in the first round of cuts. We saw that kid from Kansas City last year, who I can't even remember his name. And then we get this kid Pharaoh. What's that?
I said that guy.
That guy, right. And then we get this kid Pharaoh Brown out of Seattle. Also another big body tight end who supposedly has some speed. Again, doesn't make the roster at the first round of cuts. So we're looking at Darren Waller, Julian Hill. I think Tanner Connor's second solid preseason in a row for him. I do feel like he makes this team. The big question mark is, does Hayden Rucci make the team? I think that he does initially, and then he gets replaced by a tight end from another team when all the cuts happen.
Yeah, I only had I will say, let me start with the cuts. Pharaoh Brown was somebody that I was not overly impressed with, but I thought he is essentially the 8th offensive lineman, right? Yeah. On the field, if you will.
Well, they think Julian Hill's an incredible blocker.
Well, yeah, they also said we were worried about the offensive line more than they were, so I don't care what they think. So that one was a little bit of a shock, especially given the 3 that I have as keeping, right? So in no specific order, I have Darren Waller, Julian Hill, and Tanner Connor. And if you guys have followed our show or our previous show in any way, shape, or form, you know how I feel about Julian Hill. I'm not a fan of his. Now, I'm not saying that a player cannot evolve, which it sounds like he is getting better and working at things. That is amazing to hear. Last year, I was really high on him, right? I thought he had a phenomenal preseason. He has all the tools you want. He can catch, he's fast, he can block. But then when he got into the regular season against actual true NFL players, not third string undrafted rookies, he struggled mightily. Penalties
left and right.
Couldn't block, couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Couldn't catch anything. I mean, he had Ted Ginn hands. It was horrible. Huh. So I don't want to shun him, but this is a what have you done for me lately? And it was not good. So, if we are hanging our hats exclusively on Darren Waller, we are screwed. This is at this position. It's not going to really affect our team because we don't really use tight ends that much outside of last year, which was an anomaly.
No, this is definitely a position we're going to see movement in with players from other rosters. Yeah, I do think eventually we will have 4 tight ends on the roster, whether that's now after the first round of cuts or whether that's next week as they start to see who's on a waiver wire and they start to rotate a little bit. I do think we'll eventually land at 4.
Yeah, and I think that's the right number to have, right? Mm-hmm. Due to injury, I mean, the tight end position is a hell of a position to have to play in the NFL. I mean, you're doing offensive lineman work and you're doing wide receiver work and you're doing, I definitely can see us making some additions in quite a few rooms, if I'm being completely honest, with cuts. So,
absolutely.
We'll see.
Yeah. And the last thing on Julian Hill, I mean, I know that there has been NFL players, the ones who kind of have their own YouTube channels now and they do film analysis, and they've said that he's actually a very good blocker. But I have seen this man affect our running game almost as much as the offensive line last year when he would just come in motion, supposed to set that edge and completely whiff on his block. Now, maybe I'm just harping on that because it's so freaking obvious, but geez, man.
Yeah. And it's been with Gronk took a year off and got a ring. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I don't see a difference between him and Julian Hill. I think they're the same player.
Player.
Obviously, if you're chiming in at this very specific moment instead of watching everything before what we just said, I am kidding.
He's not kidding. Gronk and Julian Hill are the same player. Moving on. No, that's enough of the tight end. Let's move on to the offensive line. This has been a point of contention for the Dolphins for as long as I've been a fan, for being honest. So the fans are never happy with our offensive line, even a few years ago when we had a very solid offensive line and we didn't find out until we let 3 of those guys go. And then we're like, oh, crap. We actually had a good offensive line.
Please come back. Please come back.
Right. Please. Like, Robert Hunt, get out of here. I would never pay that for you. And then next year, we're like, Robert Hunt, come back. I'll pay you anything.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Starting rotation is looking it's looking okay, man. James Daniels is still recovering from injury. We've talked about him a lot. He's one of the new guards. Jonah Sevenai, as a rookie, he's another guard. Guard position is still shaky, I say. But they're surrounded by what I think are very good players, and Patrick Paul on the left side, Aaron Brewer in the center, and Austin Jackson coming back from injury on the right side, who, from what we can tell, Austin Jackson's fine. He's back 100% from injury. He is good to go.
Yes, he is.
Patrick Paul has looked like name a famous left tackle here because he's looked incredible. And Aaron Brewer, in our specific system, I know Aaron Brewer, people who have had Aaron Brewer on their team in the past, Tennessee, we're not very happy with him. But in our specific system, he's been pretty good.
He's been amazing. He's been a top 5 center in this league.
So
we
saw stronger people on this unit carry it last year for us at times before injuries were abound.
Yeah.
So I do think that even if James Daniels is not 100% or Jonas Sevenai is learning, they can be carried by the tackle position.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty typical for our standard offensive line. For our standard offensive line. Right. Now, I am very, very high on our starters. Right, I have the exact same starters that you have in those exact positions. I'm a huge fan of Aaron Brewer, and it's not even close. I am a huge fan of Patrick Paul. I think Patrick Paul did it the right way. He sat a year, learned behind one of the best left tackles to ever do it. Is clearly putting in the time, both physically and mentally. Austin Jackson coming back from injury concerns me a little bit, given his injury history, that he hasn't had very much in-game kind of body prep, if you will. You can only do so much in practice, right? I mean, even full contact practice, it's a lot different when you're going up against, the starting defensive ends in this league. And so I am a little concerned that he might re-injure himself, but I don't want to be negative. We're starting off injury, or we're starting off non-injured. And hopefully he's good to go.
So let's talk roster there. So we've cut a few of these guys already. Addison West and Mason Brooks both are getting the axe. And then we also saw Jackson Carman and Jalen McKenzie.
Yep.
So we saw 4 offensive linemen get cut already. So who does that leave? Liam Eichenberg's on PUP, so he's not going to be ready for the start of the year. Andrew Meyer, I believe, is also on some sort of list, and I don't.
He's injured, but he not for. I think it's they're saying 3 or 4 weeks, maybe.
So we don't know if he's going to start on the PUP or on IR or whatever. We haven't heard from the team on that yet. So that gives us Daniel Brunskill is left, Larry Borum is left. We're looking at Braden Daniels and Keon Smith, Ryan Hayes, Byron Matos, Josh Preeb. These are guys that are still on the roster. I'm looking at keeping 8 offensive linemen. I don't know where you sit on how
7.
many of these guys and who's going to be, given the axe.
Yeah, so I have 7, right? So outside of our 5 starters, I have us also keeping Larry Borum and Andrew Meyer. Right. Okay. With Liam Eichenberg, obviously he would be on this list, but he's not. He's injured. This is another room like the tight end room where I think we will see us churn the quote unquote bottom of the roster to add players that are cut by other teams in the next couple days. Like, as much as I think Andrew Meyer had a very good offseason from start to finish. I mean, he looked really good. Yeah. You're injured. You're not starting. Your position isn't safe. You could argue Larry Borum is on the block as well, for lack of a better term, but we paid him a decent amount of money. So he's probably safe, and he's looked marketably better every game. Our first preseason game, I thought this guy was a bust of a player signing, right? But he looked much better in game 2, and all throughout practices and whatnot. Reports have been that he's getting his legs back under him, which is good. I will be very curious to see what kind of players get cut loose from other teams, and if there are any that we can add to this team, because where I am a firm believer in our starting 5, behind them, I'm good if you cut everyone.
Yeah, I think they keep up to 9. It's going to depend on their feelings on these guys. Did Daniel Brunskill do enough? I know he was a pretty highly regarded free agent coming in. Also played with Aaron Brewer, so there's that connection there. Yep. Larry Borum coming in, I think he's good too. Braden Daniels is an interesting name to me. I think he's made some nice plays this preseason, but did he do enough to, for them to keep him on the initial roster, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, and he's still young. He's still young.
And then the other one with the same kind of question mark is Keon Smith. I mean, we've seen some big mistakes from him, but we've also seen some nice. So I think Ryan Hayes, Byron Matos, Josh Preeb, I think they're all gone, if I had to guess. But I do think there's still some decision making between the Keon Smith, Braden Daniels, actually just those two. I really think that Brunskill and Borum and Myers are locked in. And then we're looking at those other guys to see.
Yeah, it was tough for me because when I was constructing my 53 with the cornerback issues, it made me keep a lot more safeties than I would have originally, which means I had to cut from other positions. And because we are leaning into our front seven, I kept quite a lot of players there as well. So I mean, as we get past this and into the defense, I'm sure there are players on my list that are, I'm not sure. I know there are players on my 53 that can get swapped in for maybe a better offensive tackle that gets of a player from a player standard. Okay. So we'll see. Be curious.
Our offensive line, I mean, Chris Greer and company, whoever handles his free agency moves, I don't believe it's him, likes to churn the offensive line a lot. So we will definitely see.
Yeah.
Matos is a roster exemption. Okay, I didn't realize that. Thank you, Phins.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
But Josh, if you want to throw that up.
I think he's injured. I really do. I think that Matos didn't he get he got medevaced somewhere after a game?
He did, but they didn't put him on IR. So I don't know. I don't know how the international program works. Maybe they don't have to put him on IR because he's an exempted roster spot anyway. So so Byron Matos might stick. I feel that name sounds familiar. I feel like I should know more about him, and we will when we get into the season. Right now, there's too many guys to play to talk about to go too in depth. All right, so let's move to the defense. We know we play a base 3-4, which means that we'll typically keep more linebackers than we will defensive linemen. The defensive linemen aren't necessarily our pass rushers, but if you get a pass rush from them, that's a bonus. They are meant to fill up the gaps and let the linebackers do their job. So that being said, we obviously drafted Kenneth Grant in the first. I believe he's sticking.
I'm not sure.
Hopefully, but we have seen teams cut first round picks before, so let's.
I mean, that's fair. That's not going to be the case here, but yes.
I think, and I've seen other Dolphins YouTube content creators say this, and then mad kudos to them, and I can't even remember their names right now. I'm so sorry, but I think Chris Greer has absolutely turned our defensive tackle position upside down, and you've said this before too, for the next 10 years, because I think not only Kenneth Grant, a first round pick, that's easy, right? But Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers have been absolutely dominant in their playing time here in the preseason. I don't know what they're going to look like against starters, but let me tell you, they've done everything right up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to love, right? I mean, you have speed, you have power, you have, in Zeke Biggers, you have a massive, just massive human being, 6'5", 319. I mean, the dude is huge. And I think, to what you just said, we both said it in various ways. I think our defensive line is set for the next decade plus. I really, really do. There is no reason to be worried about that position at all. I split it up into nose tackles and just D linemen because like Kenneth Grant and Zach Sealer, to me, I have them classified as D linemen because they can play inside, they can play outside, they can play the 1, the 3, the 5, whatever they need to. So I have us keeping Zeke Biggers, Benito Jones, Jordan Phillips, Kenneth Grant, and Zach Sealer on the defensive line.
I think the only other one I have 6. I have Dickerson staying. We'll see if I change my mind on that by the time we get to the cornerback room. But yes, I have Grant, Jones, Sealer, Benito Jones, that is, Biggers, and Phillips with Matt Dickerson as the cherry on top. Or maybe the crumbs at the bottom, depending on how you look at it. For this position, we have already seen Ben Stilley get cut, which leaves Alex Huntley and Matthew Butler still on the roster for the defensive end and nose tackle position. I'll be honest, I think Huntley is an undrafted free agent. I don't know that I've seen much of him, and Butler is a free agent from Vegas. Don't know.
Yep. And Finn's been here with a perfectly stated comment. Think about this. Our interior D line is going to be Sealer, Grant, Phillips, and Biggers for at least the next 4 years. And 2 of them are barely 21 years old. That's insanity. I mean, and that's what I was alluding to where, as much grief as I give Chris Greer, I really genuinely believe this draft,
Mm-hmm.
it was a home run of an NFL draft.
Yeah. If one of Trader or Marshall hits,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be an A+ draft. No, I mean,
mean,
if it's not already, because I think
yeah, no, I
Grant
get
and
you.
Gordon and Phillips and Biggers have all looked really good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we haven't seen a few of those guys against starters, so we'll see what they're made
Mm-hmm.
of in the regular season. But if one of these defensive backs hits at a time when we desperately need a defensive back, like I know we're expecting Jason Marshall to win the nickel corner job. We'll see how he handles that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be really. We may see Greer get an
Spectacular.
extension because of it, which would suck.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm getting too excited for some. There is not light at the end of that tunnel. No, but
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, Jason Marshall, I genuinely believe he's already locked it up. It was stated by the team he's our starting nickel.
Yeah.
And I've loved. He was one of the two. Him and Dante Trader Jr. I was more excited about Trader Jr. at the safety position than I was at than I was with Marshall Jr. being selected at the cornerback room.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, I'm a Florida State grad, so the fact that he's from UF probably shaded my opinion of him just slightly. But what I've seen from him in the preseason and the improvement, the noticeable improvement in every aspect of his game, him being Marshall Jr., from preseason game 1 to the final preseason game, was spectacular.
Yeah. Listen, I am still dreading the first time we play real receivers, though.
Whoa,
I mean, these guys have been facing wide receivers 6s and 7s and 8s. And when they line up on even against the Colts, they're going to be facing, I mean, he's going to be head to head with Josh Downs.
Yeah,
good luck, kid.
Yeah. I am not excited about the cornerback room, which we will talk about momentarily.
Yeah. First, we have to talk about. So I have 5. You have 5 defensive linemen. I have 6. More likely, it's going to be 5. I agree with you there, because the linebacker position has been probably the battle of camp so far.
I don't know how many you have.
There's so many guys on this list that I love. Okay, so let's just count it out. Jalen Phillips is 1. Jordan Brooks is 2. Willie Gay Jr., Bradley Chubb. We're already at 4. Those are our 4 starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at KJ Britt's not going anywhere. Chop Robinson's obviously not going anywhere. And Tyrell Dodson's not going anywhere. We're up to 7 now. Matthew Judon just signed. I don't think he's getting cut. That's 8. And then you're looking at a bunch of guys who are battling hard. Quentin Bell, Grayson Murphy, Derek McClendon all put incredible tape up this preseason and last preseason. And Quentin Bell put up incredible tape last season, the regular season.
Yeah, don't forget about Cameron Good either.
Right. I'm getting there. I'm working up to it, right? So then we have Cameron Good, the 7th round pick from 3 years ago. Finally getting on the field after tons and tons of injuries. He's looking good. Channing Tindall, trash. Get rid of him. Then we got Eugene Asante, who is an undrafted free agent, who has kind of moved up the depth chart ahead of Daquan Jackson, who we signed as an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
And then we got Muhammad Kamara, who was our darling 7th round pick last year, 6th round pick last year, who is all the way at the back according to the depth chart right now. So probably not even making the team. I cannot decide on the last. So I have obviously the 8 that I mentioned are locked, I feel like. I don't know how many we keep. Let's say we keep 10. I cannot decide on those last 2.
Yeah, I actually have us keeping 11.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm sorry. I can't count. I have us keeping 12. 12 between inside and outside linebacker. So the entire linebacking core. I have us keeping 12. Yeah. Now that is probably way too many, but I could not justify cutting any of them. The only 2 on my list that I could see not making the team is one of or both of Quentin Bell and Cameron Good. I just don't understand how you can cut them with how young Cameron Good is. I mean, yes, he's got an injury history, but so the inside linebackers, I have them classified inside and outside. The inside linebackers, I have us keeping 4. I have us keeping KJ Britt, Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson, and Willie Gay Jr. Sorry, Willie Gay Jr. I got lit up online for forgetting Jr. And then I know. And then I have 8 outside linebackers, Bradley Chubb, Judon, Derek McClendon, Grayson Murphy, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson, Quentin Bell, and Cameron Good.
I think if Good makes it, it's for special teams. At least I hope. I agree in the
Keep in
inside.
mind, yes,
Yeah.
I mean that's what some of these are, right? Some of these
I
are.
agree on inside linebacker. I think it's just 4 for me: Brooks, Gay Jr., Dotson, and Britt.
Yep.
I don't think Tyndall, Asante, or Jackson really did enough to warrant keeping a 5th inside linebacker. But pass rush is a hard position to come by. It's like the quarterback of the defense.
Yep.
And I think Jalen Phillips, Chubb, Judon, and Chop Robinson are obviously locks. I see here that Finspin said Grayson Murphy's a one-trick pony. I kind of really liked what Grayson Murphy did.
So did I.
I could see him getting cut. I won't be like devastated, but I think he did a lot this preseason to prove his worth. Let's say he does get cut. I still think we keep Quentin Bell. Maybe good. McClendon did a lot too, but did he do enough? It was always against thirds. You know, I see Kamara, McClendon, and potentially Grayson Murphy getting cut, which leaves us with Quentin Bell and Cameron Good as the no names there.
Yeah, and my logic here was also not just special teams, but given the injury history that a lot of these players have, right? I mean, we have 2 of our dogs in Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb coming off of substantial injuries. And injuries are going, especially with how these positions play, specifically in our defense, they are constantly going at 1,000 miles a minute. And I think I factored in the fact that we obviously need special teams players, and there are probably going to be nicks and bruises and some injuries across multiple positions. I just couldn't justify cutting any of these players because where if Jalen Phillips got injured again, knock on wood, he doesn't, but if he's out and you put in somebody like Quinn Bell or Cameron Good, yes, the talent deficit is clear and evident, but the drop off isn't from 10 to 0. It's from 10 to 6. It's from 10 to 5. And it allows us to maintain the levels of pressure that we're going to need given the next position we're going to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, in my heart, I want to keep Bell and Murphy, and I want to cut Good, McClendon, and Kamara.
Yeah. So who were the final inside and outside linebackers that made your roster?
So Brooks, Gay Jr., Dotson, and Britt on the inside, just 4.
Yep.
Pass rushers, I got obviously Chop, Jalen, and Bradley, and Judon. So there's 4 there. Like I mentioned, in my heart, it's Murphy and Bell, but I think in my brain, it's Good and Bell.
Good and Bell. So 6 outside linebackers, 4 inside. Okay.
Yeah, so 10 total.
Perfect.
I do see McClendon as a potential special teams player.
Yeah.
If they want to, if they want to keep him on special teams, I could see that. I think Kamara had a chance. Kamara had so much opportunity last year, and he did nothing with it. I think he's done. As much as Dolphins fans probably hate that because he was talked up so much last year.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of his. I really was. Yeah. I mean, I still am, and I think he probably makes the practice squad. Now, whether he sticks on the practice squad because hopefully he doesn't get poached.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, he was another late round pick, right?
And it's unfortunate for these guys that we just signed Judon because I think one more of them makes it if Judon doesn't get signed. Let's be honest, Matthew Judon is an incredible pass rusher.
Yeah,
and he's going to make. Yeah. I mean, his signing. I didn't get the full picture of it when we first did it, and I was kind of a little confused by it. But now that I look at the 4 pass rusher rotation we have of Chop, Jalen, Chubb, and Judon, what a thing of beauty, man!
I mean, who do you block? I mean, who do you double team?
The Jaguars couldn't. When they were in there against the Jags on this preseason game, they were making a sack or a breakup every single play until Mike took them out.
And unfortunately, and I don't mean to turn this podcast a little negative, with the state of our cornerbacks, you need to have constant pressure, which means your rushers, your linebackers, your defensive linemen, your defensive tackles, they have to go at 100% constantly, which means we are with that, at least that's my opinion. And given that means you have to carry more so that you can continuously say, all right, you go, hey, Chop, come in. Yeah. You're going to go in and you're going to play 6 plays, 6 downs. I need you to give me 1,000% for those 6, and then you're coming out so you can rest. And then when he comes out, hey, Quentin Bell, when you go in, I'll put you in for 5. I need you to go, 1,000 miles a minute, and so on and so on and so on. And you can just keep churning and burning, kind of like what the Eagles do, right?
Yeah, the Eagles defensive, and then they get rid of defensive linemen every year. I mean, and they make millions upon millions of dollars, and then the Eagles just slide somebody else in. This is a crazy stat here. Only 22 players got claimed after final roster cuts last year, so getting guys poached is not as scary as you may think.
Wow.
I don't have any way of fact checking this Phins spin, so I'm going to take your word for it on that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting. In my head, it just feels like when players get cut, they get picked up. You know what I mean? Whether it's on practice squad or whether it's on active day 53-man rosters, and that's a crazy stat. And I have no reason.
It also makes a little sense to me though, because they just spent how many weeks with these 90 players, and they took it forever to cut down to 53. So it does make some sense that if you like your 53, you're not going to pick up anybody because you don't want to get rid of anybody.
Well, unless you have teams like us that have, bagmen and bank tellers at the cornerback position. I mean,
Well, and you always inevitably see the wave of IR guys come in too right before week one. It's like, this guy's toe is bothering him for like 3 days, so he's on IR now. The other guy broke a nail. So
I was about to say that.
He won't be able to play for a while.
Yeah, Mo Kamara's got a hangnail. He's on IR for the rest of the season.
Out 6 weeks at least. Maybe we'll bring him back. When we brought Cameron Good back last year, I was like, why?
Why? What are you doing?
All right. Let's finally talk about this cornerback room. Before we get into how many we're going to keep and who we're going to keep, let's talk about who was already cut, which is actually quite a few from this room. Cameron Dantzler was a guy we brought in from the UFL and the CFL. Just signed this last week, and he gets cut. I don't understand that either, by the way. A little pet peeve, a little rant. Why sign a guy in the final week of the preseason if you have no actual expectations for keeping him? I know, we're going to get him some tape so other teams could see him. Who the hell's going to sign him? We got one game.
I think that's because we needed bodies, because we were resting so many players.
Maybe. Ethan Robinson, the one who made the incredible game-sealing interception in week 2, I was expected got cut. We didn't really think he would make it, but maybe practice squad. We'll see about that. Who else? Mike Hilton, we already talked about. He gets cut. So that's 3 to get cut already. That leaves probably 20 the first one still left on the roster. Cameron Dantzler.
Oh, Dantzler. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yep. Keep an eye out. Probably didn't even know he was signed because I sure didn't.
I mean, I don't even know who that is. So I'm nodding because, for our fans, I want them to know that we know things, but I don't know who that is.
For every position we've talked about too, let us know in the comments. We got Finspin here letting us know who he thinks we're going to cut, who we're going to keep. So you let us know too in the comments. Who would you want to keep? I don't think the decisions are that hard this year for Miami outside of linebacker. Everything else seems to be pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, well, the fact that I kept 438 linebackers, it's pretty tough.
Let's talk corner. So it seems, as according to the team, Jason Marshall Jr., the rookie 5th-round pick out of the University of Florida, has won the nickel corner position. Congratulations to him. 5th-round pick winning a starting position is huge.
That's amazing.
The expectation is that undrafted rookie free agent from last year, Storm Duck, is expected to start on one side for us. I am hella nervous about that because he's got that dog in him, but he ain't been that good. And then we got the free agent from the Raiders, Jack Jones, expected to start on the other side. So that's our 3 starters. Let's look at the depth. Kendall Sheffield from the Jets. Ethan Bonner, who is currently injured. I don't know what that injury status is. Isaiah Johnson, fan favorite Cam Smith. Can't even say that without laughing. Then we have BJ Adams. We already talked Cameron Dantzler was already let go. And then we have Cornell Armstrong, who was another free agent addition.
Sorry, I was muted for my whole... I can't believe Cam Smith. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you're muted. I don't even get the comedic back and forth.
No, fucking rookie move, dude.
I'm going to Cam Smith you next time.
Oh, please
cut you right out of here.
The irony in all of this is I'm talking crap about him, but I have him making the roster. So,
so looking at this, I haven't picked my final yet. I got to be honest. I looked at this thing 100 times. I still don't know who my final guys are. What happened to Nick Needham? Nick Needham to the rescue. This comment. Where is he?
I think he got cut.
Is he alive?
I think he got cut. Yeah, he's still around. We could sign him if we wanted to.
We might want to. So you start, and I will decide as you talk as to who's going to make my final roster.
I don't want to.
I'm sorry, you have to do it.
I have us keeping 3 cornerbacks. No, I'm kidding. I have us keeping 5 cornerbacks. Now, before the chat blows up and crucifies me, how can you only keep 5? This room is the worst. I get it.
Yeah,
but there we don't have good players anywhere. So I kept 5, but I also kept a lot more safeties than I ever have, because I truly believe, given the lack of talent in the cornerback room, we are going to see quite a lot of 3 safety defensive play calls, or defensive formations rather. So the 5 cornerbacks that I have, in no specific order, Ethan Bonner, I have making this team, Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Marshall Jr., and Cam Smith. To your point, I think you nailed it. I think our starters are, and I can't believe I'm saying this given the room, clear and evident out of the group.
Because the rest of them suck.
Jeez, well, I mean, our starters aren't good either, but
well, that's true.
Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Marshall Jr. I think those are our 3 cornerback starters. Jack Jones is the Jameis Winston of the quarterback room. He's going to get you 30 touchdowns and he's going to get you 30 interceptions. That's exactly what Jack Jones is going to do. He's going to give up 30 touchdowns and he's going to take 30 interceptions. You know what I mean?
If he gets 30 interceptions, he's going to make a lot of money.
If he gets 30 interceptions, yes, he will.
He's going to be the highest paid player in any position
in NFL history. Obviously, I'm waxing poetic a little bit. Obviously, I don't expect him to get that many. Yes, I mean, maybe a little less than 30. But, Storm Duck, I personally think he's going to have a bounce back year. I fully 100% understand where you're coming from with, holy crap, why is this guy starting?
I love his attitude.
Yes.
I love his attitude.
I think he gives us, he's, slightly, he's almost the same size as Jason Marshall Jr., which is awesome at 6 foot 195. But what I've seen from him in preseason and in practices and from talking to folks that actually are in Miami that are going to practice that I trust, that are in the media, or in forms of media, I should say. He has been working, and you can tell he is working. He's worked on his footwork. He's worked on his eye discipline. He's worked on his mechanics, his punch, his recognition. So until I see him falter, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt because players do evolve. If we are going off last year, I am shitting my pants. Right. And Jason Marshall Jr. has looked markedly better every single time he's had a chance to get on the field in front of a camera. He is, I think, probably our best cornerback right now. And that is, I mean, you can argue Jack Jones because he has the experience, but maybe I'm sipping the Kool-Aid a little bit with Marshall Jr., but I'm a big fan of his now. So who do you have?
I also have 5.
Oh, you do? 5. Okay. Well,
yeah,
so not crazy. Okay.
No, so Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Jason Marshall Jr., Kendall Sheffield, and Ethan Bonner, who's
Sheffield,
hurt.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Who was your 5th again?
Cam Smith.
Okay, Cam Smith. I have Sheffield. Yeah. Yep. I don't. Cam Smith hasn't done anything.
Honestly, 6 of 1, half another.
Maybe he stays just because he's drafted by us. I do think that's a good call out by Phins. The Browns did cut Nick Needham. I do think he's in here tomorrow. I have no doubts.
See Cam Smith. I would happily take Nick Needham over you.
Right. I like, because you see that all the time. Guys go back to their former team, especially if they're in need. So by the end of this week, if Nick Needham's not signed, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Unless there's something, there's a reason he was cut that we don't know about. Right. Obviously, if he fails his medical or whatever the case is.
So 5 to 6 corners is, I think, what I put down. I could see up to 8 as they start to get more bodies in here.
Okay.
But I do think our safeties are better, so maybe they opt to keep more safeties, like you alluded to, and we're going to talk about here in a second. I really want to hear the fan take on this, though. So
I do. This is one that you guys need to chime in and scream from the rafters.
Not to say I didn't care about your opinion on the rest of the positions, but I really didn't. I want to hear what you think about the quarterback room.
No, seriously though, please comment. Let us know what cornerbacks you guys think this team is going to keep from our current roster, and if there are any that are falling that you think might shake off the trees. Which should we go after?
Tell us why Isaiah Johnson didn't make it. I don't even know who this is. Tell us why he should make it.
Isaiah Johnson, I can tell you. He was my very last cut from this roster to get down to 53.
Incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
All right, safeties. I want to hear your thoughts. So
safeties. Let's go.
I had 5 cornerbacks, and and you had 5 cornerbacks. How many safeties do you have? Who are they?
I have 6 safeties.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh,
so I think that obvious options to stay are Fitzpatrick and Melifonwu, who are our 2 starting safeties right now. I think Ashton Davis is hurt right now. Hopefully he'll be back by week 1. He definitely stays. I think Elijah Campbell stays. He's been here a while. He's improved year over year. We really liked him last year. We were hoping to see more of him. And then to the same point, I think Patrick McMorris also makes the team. I think that they want to see more from him. I think that this was a guy who was highly touted last year. There was a lot of expectations from the Dolphins brass, not really from anybody else because he wasn't a hype. I think he was undrafted potentially. But you're different than everybody.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about football. Yeah.
Most Dolphins fans don't even know who the heck Patrick McMorris is, so we're here to tell you. And then I have obviously the rookie 5th-round pick, Dante Trader Jr. making. I know that Jordan Colbert did a lot this preseason, and he's really made a name. Like he's tried immensely to make this team. So if he made it over like McMorris or Campbell, I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure.
But I do think we could keep up to 6 safeties because who are we going to keep it? Like we have no corners. These guys are going to have to dual roll it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was tough. The safety room, I wanted to keep as many as I could. Yeah. I got it down to 5.
Okay.
So I have 5 cornerbacks and 5 safeties. And my 5 safeties are Ashton Davis, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Patrick McMorris, Melifanu, and Dante Trader Jr. I just really like the mix of players and positional versatility and talent, right? Each of these players is good at something. And
so you got Campbell going.
I do. Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough cut. It was between him and Patrick McMorris. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a fan of Patrick McMorris from a player. I liked what he was doing. I liked a lot of the things he was doing last preseason before his injury. And I liked how he's looked coming back from an injury. He's put on some weight. He's a little bit faster, which is ironic given his injury. But I think this safety room really is diverse, and it allows us to cover up some of the all of the deficiencies that the cornerback room is clearly showing. Outside of, maybe Jack Jones and Jason Marshall Jr. But I think, like we alluded to earlier in the show, we will see quite a lot of, in my opinion at least, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think I can say for you as well, see quite a lot of 3 safety formations because the safety room is markedly more talented than the cornerback room today. Now, this is before any moves are made, so if we make any signings, that could change. But yeah.
This is a room too where we see a lot of guys get kept for special teams because we need gunners. Yeah. And what better gunner than a guy who can run a 4.4 and can hit like a
Mack truck.
Truck. So you may see McMorris, Campbell, Colbert, and we even have John Saunders Jr. I don't know much about him. Sorry, he's an undrafted free agent. We could see these guys stick for special teams purposes.
Mm-hmm.
A little comedy from Finspin here. He sees Minkah was looking like that transporting mutant from X-Men out there. One second he was here, the next he was there.
Yeah, that's Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
Nightcrawler.
He's gonna have a great year. I think Minkah. I think Weaver said, "Get me Minkah if you can" when they were looking at trading Jalen. Listen, I don't like most of this coaching stuff, but I love Anthony Weaver.
Oh my goodness, so do I. And our special teams coach is one of my favorite coaches now.
Yeah. Although I miss Darren Rizzi a little bit.
Get out of here. You're in timeout. Go sit in your cat tree.
His eyes. It was just the eyes, dude.
No.
Okay. All right.
No,
moving on. Speaking of special teams, we have to talk a little bit special teams because our kicker, somehow, some way, has broken something or strained something
in his hip.
Hurt something.
Hurt his hip.
You never want to hurt a hip as a kicker. Kind of need that.
No, so he'll miss 4 to
5 weeks.
Yes.
Yep. He's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks. Dolphins are deciding whether or not to put him on IR. For those of you who are not that good at math, this week will be 1, next week will be 2, and then the regular season starts. So he's set to miss 2 to 3 games. They can put him on IR and have him back after 4 games, I believe, is the lowest IR thing. There's like 6 tiers now. I don't know what all the tiers are. I'll have to look it up. Let's say 6 games just for the sake of it. But yeah, so we're going to need another kicker. Be on the lookout for kickers from the UFL or getting cut from other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Bailey won the punter competition, which we haven't talked about yet, and I feel like you've been avoiding because of your love for Ryan Stonehouse.
I don't want to talk about it.
I think you need to, though. I think you need to tell the people.
I have an IR update.
Okay.
So, short-term IR, designated for return. A player must miss a minimum of 4 games. After
Yes.
4 games, they can be designated to return to practice. Once they start practicing, the team has 21 days to activate them to the 53-man roster. If not activated, they stay on IR for the rest of the season.
So I had something semi right there. 4 games he
You were
has to
close.
miss if they put him on
Yep.
IR, or he can miss 2.
Yep.
It depends.
You
I guess
saw.
it depends on what kind of kicker they get, right? Like who are they going to get?
Yeah.
Jake Bailey kicked an extra point, I think, in this Jaguars game.
Ugh. Okay.
All right. We're gonna. Josh has to talk about this Jake Bailey competition.
No, I don't.
He has to
No,
because
I
he has
don't.
to talk about how many punters we're gonna keep, unless it's not obvious.
I don't want to. I'm busy that day.
Special teams to me, like the 3 that we know because we don't know who the gunners and all that crap is going to be.
Of course. Yeah.
Jake Bailey's the punter. Jason Sanders is the kicker when he comes back. And Joe Cardona is the long snapper. There's your long snapper talk for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it.
Get your fix.
That's it. Any thoughts on this here?
None.
Good.
No, awesome. I'm kidding. Look, I have been a staunch disbeliever in Jake Bailey.
Yes.
After his 27-yard punt last year,
it was a beauty.
It was something. It was a
awful.
choice. It was a choice. But I have to admit, he vastly outpunted Ryan Stonehouse this preseason by a substantial amount of yards. We're talking. I think I saw it was like Stonehouse's average was 48, and Bailey's was like 56 or something. I mean, substantial. So I understand, but Jake Bailey, like our past quarterback, preseason darling, I am filibustering.
Skyler.
Thank you, because I couldn't remember his name.
QB1 for the Steelers, right?
Yes, he is. He should be, based on his outstanding preseason, especially in the week that he plays us. He should definitely start. Jake Bailey is a preseason darling. However, I think, like I have alluded to for other players evolve, players get better, they practice, they get, they work on things. Sometimes. So hopefully that is the case with Bailey. I mean, you saw it in the punting difference in average, or the difference in average punting, whatever I'm trying to say. Yeah. Joe Cardona, cool. Long snapper. That's the second time we've talked about long snappers on the show.
We change the long snapper every year. I just don't care.
Sorry.
I do not care. I'm sorry, long snappers of the universe, but
yes. Hey,
the only time I notice you is when you have a bad snap.
Somebody loves you, but it's neither of us. Yes. And Jason Sanders, I'm a huge fan of. I think he is phenomenal. However, he's injured. So whoever, insert random stranger that's going to be kicking for us for 3 weeks. And there's your 53.
There's your 53. Hey. I mean, I count it like we guesstimate it between 50 and like 56 based on our differences in roster size there.
Yep.
I think who is your hardest decision between when you were putting this together?
Whether or not to keep one or both of Quentin Bell and Cameron Good. That was where I struggled the most, because I can see a world in which both are not on the roster. I can see a world where just one of them, or in my world where both of them made it. I think it was tough because, I can understand the logic behind opening up spots, more throws of the dartboard, if you will, at other positions of need that are not as good. I just don't think you can sacrifice that kind of talent. And I understand they're not as good as our starters, but they are very good edge rushers. They are very good football players. Yeah. When you have as bad of a cornerback room as we do, because we are going to need to be full throttle, pedal to the metal every single snap, so that our cornerbacks don't get picked apart. And I think you can't do that if you're not rotating enough. But it was tough. It was really, really hard. The other position room I struggled with a lot was the tight end, because I don't like any of them. So I was like, do we keep any of them? I mean, or do we, yeah, I guess you need a tight end. But I'm not a fan of any of them. I mean, people are really excited about the shiny new toy, and by new, I mean new to us. Definitely not new to the world, in Darren Waller. But
I have no excitement for Darren Waller.
I mean, I don't know what to expect, and my expectations are crazy low. We talked about it on a show last week or the week before, I can't remember, where we were like, if he gives us 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, that was a successful signing because I'm not expecting anything from him.
We don't even know if he's going to play.
Right, exactly. And Tanner Connor and Julian Hill are the only other tight ends that I have making this roster. I'm not. None of them get me out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean?
No.
So they keep me in bed because I'm stressed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What about you?
Yeah, whether or not to keep a 7th wide receiver was really eating at me there.
Yeah.
I really liked Theo Weiss Jr. and I thought he put up, some good stuff. But is this just like, the Eric Ezukanma syndrome from years past? And then
didn't make either of our rosters. Thank
God.
God.
Yeah, thank God. I think your two was I also, but I don't want to duplicate you. But yes, the linebacker room and tight end room were difficult. And then of course the corner / safety room, like what combination of those guys? I didn't want to keep any corners outside of the top 3, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
I forced myself to keep 5, and even those 5 I didn't really like. So
yeah, I mean that's a fair point.
And I didn't keep Cam Smith, which I think a lot of Dolphins fans are going to have beef with. And there's we're split, right? 50% of the fan base likes him, 50 does like just get rid of him already.
Welcome to Dolphin fandom. 50% like anything, 50% don't.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see who makes the roster for special teams, honestly, because I think there's going to be some guys that that we really liked who will make it, like Derek McClendon, for instance. Will make it for special teams, and that'll be exciting. But yeah.
So let me ask you a question. On your 53,
yes,
who is kind of who surprised you that you were really excited about major
Grayson
team?
Murphy, easy.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, kid came out of nowhere, right? And every time he stepped on the field, he made a play. Every single time. And I don't know how I get how you cut that because we have a lot of players ahead of him. But what more do you want him to do? He comes in, he gets a quarterback hit or a sack or a pass breakup on every single play that he plays. I mean, was it against ones? No, but I feel like you got to give him a chance. I mean, if we didn't give Cam Wake a chance, he wouldn't have turned into Cam Wake.
So you heard it here, folks. We have another Cam Wake in the house.
You never know.
I mean, that's true. You never know.
That's the point, right?
Right. You either have Cam Wake or Deion Jordan. Who the hell knows?
Cam Wake, obviously. But we didn't know that at the time.
Right. I mean, that's a fair point. When you came out of Canada, we were like, who the is this guy?
Who the heck is Cam Wake? Right, exactly.
Yeah, for me, though, this is going to sound so silly, but Taj Washington making this team, Taj is something about him. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I don't think he's our top 4 wide receivers right now, but I think this is the kind of player that, coming out of USC last year, was practicing really well, got injured, out for the season.
Yeah.
He was kind of forgotten about. And I try not to, right? I try not to have that, what have you done for me lately, right? I like to try to remember who we had on our team and why did we draft him, but he was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And watching him when he's healthy play, you understood why he got drafted. And I think he's going to contribute heavily. I think, spoiler, hot take, call it whatever the hell you want. I think he's going to have 2 return touchdowns in special teams. That's how good I think he is.
I think he looks way more like Tyreek Hill than I expected him to look.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
I know we launched a short on this, comparing him to Tyreek, being like Tyreek light, because we haven't seen some of the stuff that Tyreek does from Taj. Obviously, I mean, but if you just watch him, the movement. It's like almost he just sat back last year and he knows he has these skills, but he just watched like the little things that Tyreek does because like he looked virtually untouchable out there at times.
He really did.
His problem is going to be against starting corners and getting off the
press.
The press.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, Tyreek never gets pressed because he's too quick. Can Taj do the same thing?
Yep. Hill does this little thing now where he does like a quick half step back right as the cornerback tries to jam him at the line and then is around him.
Whips around him.
I want to see Taj learn to do something like that because to your point, Taj is primarily, in my opinion, going to be a slot wide receiver, right? And if he can learn how to do that and go across the middle with no fear like he did in all of the preseason games that we saw, he's going to be on this team for a while.
And that's just something all of our corners have to deal with. We've seen Jalen Waddle struggle with that a little bit. Is that when you have this much speed, the defense's response is, "Well, I'm just not going to let you be fast.
Yeah, I'm just gonna punch you in the neck.
Right?
See what happens.
Yeah, like let me just hit you right in the face and see if you can get past me." And we've seen it. We've seen Tyreek shut down that way too. Not often, but yeah.
I love this.
Yeah,
both of the Dread president. The Washingtons have a nasty jump cut. They really do. They really do.
Malik and Taj could be the future wide receiver for us. We know that Tyreek's probably not here next year, and we'll talk way more about that in the offseason because we still have him, and I don't want to look past that.
Well, I wish we didn't have him, but yes, unfortunately, he's still on this team.
He's still an incredible player, though. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So if we went into a season with Jalen Waddle as our 1, Malik as our 2, and Taj as our slot, how would you feel?
I'd feel like our 1 is weak.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Waddle, but I think he's been in the league long enough that we know what he is. And I don't think he is a 1.
I respectfully disagree, but I like the take. I do.
You can disagree all you want, but the numbers don't lie.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I think, I think what I'm trying to do is project him as getting number 1 targets.
Sure.
From a volume standpoint.
In his first year with us, and he was pretty good.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess my question is, outside of feeling, would you feel comfortable? Like, okay, we have talent.
I would, but we're missing a superstar. Let me put it that way. So if Waddle's a 1, fine, but he's not a superstar. And I think that's what we're missing then. If we have, Waddle and the Washington Twins, I think we're missing that superstar presence. We have guys who are very good, who are very quick, who can play the position really well, but we don't have that guy who can
like
just
that AJ Brown. Yeah, that kind of Okay, yeah. I get it. I get what you mean. Yeah,
and they're all tiny. Give me my 6'2" superstar. Okay,
I don't know what it is about this team, and for some reason, how long has this regime been around together?
This is year 4, I think.
Year 4, right?
Yeah.
How do you not find a tall wide receiver that's not a practice squad guy out of college? You know what I mean? That's insane.
Everybody they brought in they just bring in like these guys who are. I mean, Robbie Chosen came in for a little bit, right? I mean, Odell Beckham last year. Like they bring in these big names, I think, just to stir up the Miami, talking heads, and then like.
Yeah, the Slim Reaper got a ring thanks to not the Slim Reaper.
Who the heck's the Slim Reaper?
Really? The guy on Philadelphia. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Devonta Smith. Yeah.
After I laughed at you for not knowing who he is. Yes. Devonta Smith. Yes. Thank you.
He gets a lot more hype than I think he deserves to.
Oh, for sure. Right. AJ Brown carries that team.
Yeah. All right. So that's our 53-man roster. I know we went on a bit of a tangent at the end, just talking about different scenarios, but that's what we do. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's listen to your tangents in the comments. I mean, Finspin, thank you so much for joining us again. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts on the 53-man roster. I think that there's some interesting positions at wide receiver, at linebacker, at corner. What do you do at safety? Who replaces Sanders at kicker for the few weeks that we need him, right? So there's a lot of things to talk about. So let us know in the comments what you think. And feel free to join us on Thursday when we react to all of the roster moves that happened this week. So we're going to react to everything that happened tomorrow, which is Tuesday, August 26th, which is cut down day. And we're going to talk about the guys who were cut from other teams that we would love to see be brought in. And we already saw Nick Needham today, would be a nice addition. So until then, thank you all so much for joining us. This has been an absolute blast talking about our Miami Dolphins yet again. Josh, you're the man, dude. Can't wait to talk again on Thursday. That's all for today, folks. Have an amazing evening. And Fins up.